Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. Got a few articles that I found very exciting. Diving right into the first article. The new dollar backed by gold is coming this October 2020. Is that the question? And capitalism has a natural way of resetting itself, and markets reward winners while punishing losers. Losing businesses restructure, find a better angle to compete, or they go bankrupt. The business owner, hopefully wise enough not to fall into complete ruin, starts over and re-enters the market wiser and more competitive than before. At least that's the idea. And if an entire economy gets mismanaged, then the same austere consequences that may befall a single company also befalls an economy. That is, unless a governing body intervenes, deviating from the natural course of capitalism proper. This latter route is what the Federal Reserve has done for decades and continues to do today. And as we scroll down, I want to skip a little bit because there are certain keywords we cannot discuss on the internet. A new Bretton Woods minus the dollar is the question. The IMF's SDR is a form of world money created in 1969 as an alternative to the US dollar. In case the dollar somehow falls, that was the idea. They were issued on several occasions from 1970 to 1980, but then there were no issues for almost 30 years until August 2009, which was in response to the last financial crises. And just to add to that, as the discussion is on gold, the SDR, also labeled the XDR, similar to the Pace and XDR built on Stellar. The SDR is based on 0.88 grams of gold since 1969. So you can understand when they have a discussion of going back to the gold standard, and when they mention the IMF's SDR or XDR, then mentally just know that it is based on 0.88 grams of gold. Then you'll understand the power of going back to the gold standard. According to a recent project syndicate report, both the IMF and the World Bank are being asked to throw away their rulebooks to save the world's imperiled developing economies. The problem with the current financial system, hammered out in 1944 at Bretton Woods, is that it was built for a different world, aimed at preventing wars, think World War II, and regulating economic function on a global scale. Clearly, it was a world of industrial production, manufacturing, trade, and most importantly, clear borders where physical goods, cash, and commodities were traded. The next headline or question of the article says, so what's the immediate threat and Trump's potential response? The rumor and big fear is that the IMF may opt to remove the U.S. from the global SDR basket, effectively reducing the U.S.'s veto rights from the world stage. SDRs would then be a step closer to replacing the greenback as the world's reserve currency. Considering the potential damage that the Fed's QE will inflict on the dollar, weakening its status as the world's currency, the potential IMF move toward replacing greenbacks with SDRs would cause a massive devaluation of the dollar, possibly up to 80%. As much as President Trump has been influencing Fed actions, despite the bank's statement to the contrary, having pressured their 180 turn from raising to cutting rates amid a balance sheet reduction, President Trump has never been a fan of the Fed. And with the IMF attempting to pull off a physical reckoning minus the US dollar, President Trump may, as his advisor Judy Sheldon has advocated, and as President Kennedy tried to do in 1963, pull off a global reckoning of his own by issuing US Treasury notes backed by gold. The new dollars would be pegged to gold, possibly at a modest starting point of 10K USD. or even higher, effectively returning the gold standard. And again, the 10K is a lot of discussion in the XRP community goes, and as given the two examples by David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, has stated that in the XRP as a currency at 10,000 having a million drops, the first drop would be a penny. If XRP were at $1 million, then the first drop would be at $1. And if you had to transfer $1 million and XRP were $1, then you would need 1,000,000 XRP. But if XRP were $1 million per XRP and you needed to transfer $1 million, then you would need to only transfer 1 XRP, which is still $1 million. So you can see why the XRP community is hopeful and optimistic of XRP being, immediately jumped up to gold at 10,000 per XRP and continuing to climb from there to possibly even as high as 1 million, as per the examples of Ripple's CTO, David Schwartz, aka Jill Katz, has given and provided as an example. Ripple cryptocurrency hits a record high above $3 if we go back to January 3rd, 2018. I'm bringing this article up because we've recently had a discussion on Twitter, and a lot of the newer investors had no idea how massive XRP was in the last bull run and how mind-blowing it's going to be in this one. And again, remember, 2021 is the 4-year cycle for the next bull run. So be patient. I do believe it will begin climbing, as it already has a little bit now. It has begun progressively, predictably moving forward and rising in price. We'll see if it continues to climb or if there's a settling point or what happens from here. Either way, it's very nice and exciting to get into the upper key of the 20s. And I do believe we'll soon see the 30s and much higher. But again, no matter what it gets this year, please save some for next year, 2021, and the following bull run of 2025. As stated, in the current market, we're in the 1 to 2%, and I believe it's much smaller, but I'm always conservative on those numbers of the population are even aware. By 2025, the industry full maturity is stated to be at over 90% of the global population using the new system. We've shared this in multiple videos and many times on Twitter as well. But just imagine where we are today, and in next year's bull run, even if it begins early, where it's going to hit, and then the following, imagine we're at supposed 1 to 2% today. Now imagine that launching to 90% of the global population. It is going to be very massive and mind-blowing, face-melting, as they say. So please save some, no matter what. If it hits your numbers, save a little bit for 2021 and 2025. You will not regret it. But getting back into the discussion, Ripple, it marks a more than 49,500% rally over the last 12-month period, according to CoinMarketCap. So think in the last bull run, from this time frame over a 12-month period, XRP did 49,500%. Just imagine if this bull run did that same percentage on where it is today at 27 cents. What are you going to have in that? Imagine 0.27 times 49,500%. You're talking 133.65 USD for XRP if it did the exact same thing as the previous bull run. Either which way, I just wanted to bring that up. I think it's very exciting, and for the new investors, that's pretty mind-blowing if you were not aware of that. The next article, Ripple's Stuart Alderoty explains how US can implement crypto regulations. And we know every time the Ripple executives speak that it's regulation, regulation, regulation. Give us regulatory clarity. I believe once their hands are untied and they're free to run, I believe we will, and I believe it will be very quickly. The U.S. is lagging other world leaders when it comes to comprehensive cryptocurrency regulations. That was a recent blog post by Ripple's Stuart Alderoty, and he outlined the path that the U.S. can take to catch up with the rest of the world. The headline of the next section of this article, a 74-year-old law. Now, while echoing numerous Ripple executives, Alderoty notes that American regulators have been treating the cryptocurrency industry differently compared to the internet in the 1990s. Instead of a hands-off approach, which birthed such internet giants as Google and Facebook, U.S. watchdogs scrutinized digital assets. The Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, didn't rush to introduce new crypto regulations while applying its 74-year-old securities law to define digital assets. So even though the ICO craze was a necessary step, Ripple routinely urged the regulator not to paint all coins with a broad brush. And if you remember that, if you were here in that time, he did set out article directly stated to the SEC in that regards from Brad Garlinghouse. And while the SEC confirmed that Bitcoin and Ethereum were not securities, there's no clarity surrounding XRP, the token promoted by Ripple that became the subject of multiple class action lawsuits against the company. And what can be done is the question in the article, and Alderoty claims that this predicament can be solved by Congress passing sensible laws, thus keeping regulatory agencies in check. He also proposed the SEC to jointly create a framework for protecting the cryptocurrency market together with the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, while praising SEC's crypto mom Hester Pierce for her safe harbor proposal. He also noted that the U.S. had to act quickly in order not to lose dominance to China. Stated it's bad enough if the U.S. were to cede a competitive edge to the likes of the UK, Japan, or Singapore. It would be a disaster if the U.S. were to let communist China take control of this technology. And unfortunately, that is exactly where the industry seems to be heading. All right, I'm going to leave you with a final discussion here. The iTrustCapital is a self-trade cryptocurrency and physical gold in your IRA or your 401k. There are other tax advantages too to protect yourself from the IRS and using iTrustCapital for your digital assets. So check that out in the link below with our partner link if you are interested or find that something that may be helpful for you. I want to leave you with a final thought. I thought this was a great little comment. Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so that you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. Remember, this is not financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. Much love to all of you, and you are greatly appreciated. Thank you for your support, and we will catch you in the next one.